Chelsea are edging closer to signing Victor Osimhen from Napoli this summer. Journalist Miguel Delaney made this revelation, adding that the Blues have been engaged in negotiations with Napoli. He said that although talks have been complicated, a breakthrough is now in sight. Osimhen, 25 years old, has a €130 million release clause in the deal he signed to last summer, but the West London side are not willing to exercise. Instead, Enzo Maresca's side are exploring the option to include Romelu Lukaku in their offer for the Nigeria international and current African Footballer of the Year. The former Serie A champions are open to such arrangements, as new manager Antonio Conte wants the former Manchester United striker to lead his attack this season. Lukaku is no longer part of the plans at Chelsea and will be allowed to leave. However, Osimhen reportedly wants close to £200,000 per week in wages to move to Stamford Bridge. While Chelsea have implemented a strict salary structure at Stamford Bridge recently, they are willing to make an exception for the Nigerian. English Premier League side, Chelsea are still pushing to have Super Eagles and Napoli striker Victor Osimhen on their books ahead of the new season. The 25-year-old wants to exit Napoli this summer, but so far, no club has been able to conjure his release clause of €130 million. The Italian club as well are unwilling to bend or reduce the fee by any figure. Chelsea, Arsenal, and Paris Saint-Germain have seen their transfer talks with the 2023 Scudetto winners stall due to disagreements in their player evaluation. Enzo Maresca's Chelsea, in search for a striker, have agreed a £34.5 million deal for Samu Omorodian with Atletico Madrid that will see the 20-year-old sign an 8-year deal with the two-time UEFA Champions League winners, according to The Sun. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano, in his column for Caught Offside, wrote that Chelsea are still negotiating with Napoli over a possible deal for Osimhen, but the only option for them to continue is with a loan or another kind of creative formula. Napoli wants to sign Romelu Lukaku from Chelsea, and Lukaku has agreed personal terms with Conte's side, but at the moment the issue is that Osimhen is not considering a loan move to Chelsea. He will also not lower his wages or accept a reduced salary. While Osimhen wants to leave Napoli this summer, the transfer appears to be at a standstill and will continue to so except Napoli reduces their asking price for the former LOSC Lille striker. The 25-year-old wants to exit Napoli this summer, but so far, no club has been able to conjure his release clause of €130 million. The Italian club as well are unwilling to bend or reduce the fee by any figure. Chelsea, Arsenal, and Paris Saint-Germain have seen their transfer talks with the 2023 Scudetto winners stall due to disagreements in their player evaluation. Football transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has confidently stated that Victor Osimhen will not take a pay cut to facilitate his move to Chelsea, The Punch reports. The Italian hinted that Chelsea's pursuit of the Napoli striker could allegedly go down to the final week of the transfer window. The Blues are in dire need of a striker capable of guaranteeing them goals, and with less than 2 weeks until the start of the new Premier League season, they have intensified their search. Chelsea are reportedly closing in on a deal for Atletico Madrid attacker Samu Omorodian, but the London club are also heavily being linked with Osimhen, with the Super Eagles forward said to be ranking prominently on their wish list. To lead their line during the 2024-25 campaign, the Nigeria international has emerged as one of the most sought-after strikers in Europe, having been linked with moves to Chelsea, Arsenal, Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United, and Liverpool, among others. However, his hefty €130 million release clause has scared off many suitors, with PSG the only European club still keen on signing him. There has been talk of a potential swap deal involving Romelu Lukaku, as Chelsea are unlikely to be in a position to activate the £113 million release clause in his Napoli contract. Osimhen is Serie A's highest earner at around £325,000 a week. He signed a new contract with Napoli in the latter stages of last year, but he is expected to leave the club before the transfer window closes. According to Romano, Osimhen is not willing to accept a pay cut to move to Stamford Bridge, and a potential transfer for the Nigerian could go down to the final week of the window. Forget about Victor Osimhen taking a pay cut, he won't reduce his salary. This will be a deal I think will go down to the final week of the window, Football Transfers quotes Romano on their website. Osimhen joined Napoli from Lille in the 2020 summer for a club record fee of €70 million plus another €10 million in bonuses. The 25-year-old has been in top form for the Parthenopenes for the past 2 seasons, guiding them to their first Scudetto in over 3 decades in the 2022-23 season, scoring 26 league goals, which earned him the top scorer award. Chelsea's hunt for a striker continues to burn on, with the Blues in the market for a new talisman to compete with Nicholas Jackson ahead of what promises to be a challenging season across all fronts for the West London club. But one star that seemingly won't be on his way to Stamford Bridge without developments is Victor Osimhen, with Fabrizio Romano stating that there has been no changes in the situation for the Napoli striker. Chelsea were linked with the striker earlier in the month in a deal that could see Romelu Lukaku join Napoli on a permanent deal, whilst Osimhen would find his way to the Premier League on a loan deal to benefit both clubs. With Paris Saint-Germain in the hunt for his signing, Osimhen is wanted across Europe, and it is no surprise given his record for Napoli over the past few seasons. But one club that he won't be joining momentarily is Chelsea, with the Blues having no change in his situation. Speaking via his playback account on Tuesday evening, Romano stated that he has heard extremely different accounts on Osimhen's future, including rumours that Chelsea are accelerating in a deal for his services alongside being left back in the race, though he refuted any claims. Napoli star Victor Osimhen could still find himself in the Premier League despite Chelsea effectively ending their pursuit of the Nigerian as they press on with a move for Samu Omorodion. Mail Sport revealed talks between Chelsea and Atletico Madrid are advancing over Omorodion, who is set to cost the Blues a cool £30 million despite scoring just 9 goals from 35 La Liga appearances in a loan stint with Alaves. The deal for Omorodion would be separate to Conor Gallagher's move the other way, with the midfielder jetting into the Spanish capital to undergo a medical with Atletico Madrid ahead of a £33.7 million move. Chelsea had been heavily linked with a move for Osimhen in recent windows, with a swap deal involving Romelu Lukaku plus cash floated. However, the Serie A side refused to budge on Osimhen's £111 million release clause. With Chelsea moving on from Osimhen, Sky Italy claimed that Arsenal could now press ahead with a move for the Nigerian marksman. The report claims the Gunners, along with Paris Saint-Germain and clubs in Saudi Arabia, all hold an interest in Osimhen, who has scored 76 goals in 133 appearances for Napoli. Despite the riches on offer in Saudi Arabia, the report claims Osimhen is not enthused by the prospect of playing in the Middle East. The 25-year-old is yet to feature in a single pre-season game for Napoli under new boss Antonio Conte, as his time in Italy appears increasingly likely to end sooner rather than later. Should Arsenal trigger Osimhen's eye-watering release clause, it would shatter the club's record transfer fee just 12 months after they forked out £105 million for star midfielder Declan Rice. The signing of Osimhen would also represent a major statement of intent from Gunners boss Mikel Arteta in his bid to stop Manchester City from winning a 5th straight Premier League title. Osimhen has made a huge impact at Napoli since joining in a reported club record £80 million move from Lille in 2020. The forward has scored 76 goals in 133 appearances for the club and played a key role in their Serie A title win in the 2022-23 season. The 25-year-old scored 26 goals in Napoli's run to their first Scudetto since 1990. Osimhen netted 17 times in 32 matches last season in all competitions, as Napoli endured a miserable defense of their Serie A title. Napoli missed out on European football after finishing 10th in a season which saw the team go through 3 different managers. Osimhen had signed a new contract in December, extending his Napoli deal until 2026. The deal saw Osimhen secure a major pay rise, while his release clause reportedly increased to €130 million, £113 million. Osimhen joining Chelsea and Lukaku moving to Napoli makes so much sense for all parties involved. At the same time, it just sounds too good to be true if you are a Chelsea supporter. Not only would the club be finally getting rid of Lukaku, but they would also be acquiring a quality number 9. There is still time for it to happen, and it is hard to imagine Enzo Maresca being against such a deal. But there are a lot of factors to consider, such as whether Osimhen is actually keen on joining the Italian squad this summer. Chelsea fans will remember the glory years when they had the likes of John Terry, Michael Ballack, Petr Cech, Didier Drogba and Frank Lampard in the same squad. However, the current Blues' strategy has been to invest in many youngsters, which means in turn there's a lack of leadership and know-how. Reece James, 24, was appointed club captain last year.